What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. We've been beaten 1-0 at home to Manchester City in what was a really disappointing defeat. I think you can take a lot away from the game in terms of second half, a lot of positives. Really should have gone back in the game, but there's no, can't kid ourselves, in that first half we were outclassed and we were completely played around. We could have been, if it wasn't for Vicario in that first half, it's going to be a lot worse. And it's a really interesting game to analyse, because first half we came out quite bright. First minute we had the opening, Odegaard, Johnson linking up in the box. You're thinking, all right, we're on it today. And obviously we know what form we've been on in the Premier League, so we know we need to start picking up regular wins. But very quickly, Man City took control, and Doku, Savinho, causing us all sorts of problems in that first half, and Doku especially.
Yeah.
Free every time on that left-hand side.
For me, I said it to you earlier, but I also said it last week for Ipswich. Seeing Spence come out of that team when he's been our best player is, for me, is sacrilege. Like, that is just, you just can't do that. Why would you take your best player out? Porro was getting absolutely destroyed down that right-hand side, like that first half, absolutely destroyed. And then you had Johnson, who wasn't tracking back at all, so he's literally by himself, and then Doku was just having a field day. Spence should have started at right back.
He assisted Haaland, didn't he?
He did, I know, this is the thing, like that's where the goal came from. It came from that side. And that's what just does my head in.
And that's where most of their chances were coming from, really, Savinho and Doku.
Everything was coming from that, it was coming from both fullbacks, but mostly from the right-hand side. And it's kind of been a common theme this season, is that right-hand side. But when I saw Spence and Udogie at right back and left back last week against Ipswich, I liked the balance. It was really good balance, because both of them are really, they can drive forward, they're both really good on the ball. Spence is far better defensively as well. And it just gave us a good balance. And then what he should have done is what he did last week, which was put start like that and then shift. If you wanted to bring Porro on, bring him on later on in the game when you want to attack.
I get you, but again, a lot of people bemoan Ange because he doesn't rotate enough and he overplays players. And I think Spence has played a lot recently, so maybe that was in his thinking. He was going to give him a rest today.
Spence looked like he'd go on for a lot. You can see his engine. He doesn't stop running. Like he's always. If you watch him at Ipswich, right, he's always trying to move, pass and move all the time. If he's not dribbling, he's always looking for the ball. He's always pointing. You see him. He's always pointing to spaces. Give me the ball. He wants the ball. And the problem is, today again, the right hand side did us. That's where we lost the game. It was that hand side. And then Johnson again today. I saw him run once the whole game. That one where he passed it to Kulu and he mistouched it.
Yeah.
And that was a good chance, but that was the only.
Sonny with a chance. I thought second half he was better.
A little bit, but he didn't do much. And I was gutted that Odegaard came because I thought he was our most attacking player in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, look, talking about the first half. Yeah, I think he was. I thought there were times he was getting shocked off the ball a bit too easy, and Nunes was dealing with him a bit too easily. But I would say. First half, if we just stick to the first half, I thought, Vicario had to make a number of saves. Man City had a number of really promising openings. Savinho hit that shot over the bar. Haaland was forcing save after save from Vicario. Obviously, they took the lead as well quite early on. And it seemed a case at that point of how many, rather than, are we going to get back in this game? Yeah. I think we were very lucky to go in at 1-0. And in a way, maybe going in at 1-0, that keeping us in the game gave us a way to try and give us a second win in that second half. And to be fair, I thought the second half we were really good. And
I don't know if we were really good. I don't think we were really good. I think we had better chances than Man City in the second half.
No, but I think we were much better than we were in the first half.
They were better than the first half.
But Man City were restricted quite a lot. We upped our intensity and aggression quite a bit. I don't know if Man City tired or not.
Well, also he made the 4 subs in one go.
He made the 4, but already
before that, I know.
We were already trying to
keep the momentum.
Bergvall gained a lot more influence.
Bergvall, I think Bergvall is something in him. There's a player in there, man. And for 18 years old, I mean, we know he's a bit sometimes rash. He loses the ball, but for what he does bring to the team at the moment, he could be a player if he keeps going like that. So keep progressing the way he is.
Agreed. And I thought Bergvall was really gaining an influence. I thought Odegaard was starting to get really involved in the game before he got taken off. Obviously, he's come back from injury, so I understand it's his first start as well. So I don't think he was ever going to play 90, but it's a shame because it looked like he's just starting to open his legs up a bit and run at the fullback Nunes.
He was the only Tottenham player in the first half, at least, and even until the second half, who was running at the players at the Man City team. He was like the only one. Yeah. No one else was doing it. Johnson was not doing it at all. Johnson had, I think maybe 2 or 3 runs that second half, and that was it. Like, he didn't have much. And again, for me, it's not enough. Like, at times when we have Johnson, it looks like we're playing with 10 men.
I agree to a certain extent, but I think you got to give him a bit of credit. He did set up that chance for Decky. He set up a chance for Sarr.
I agree with that. He
right
did
at
that.
the end as well, when we had that chance for Sarr, he was involved in that as well. So I thought
Sarr should have scored that.
Sarr should have scored. Look, when you think about it in that second half, Sarr had 2 really good opportunities.
I think we had better chances than them in the second half.
He had the one they pulled it back to him and he sliced it, wide. He had the one right at the end. Decky had a really promising opportunity. Son had a really good opportunity.
That was a lame shot by Son.
Yeah, it was. Odebert had a chance at the back post, which he
First half, yeah.
No, second half.
Was that second half?
Yeah, the back post where he had the open goal. So we had some really good chances in the second half.
We had more chances than them in the second half. Like we
were a better team.
It kind of was a bit like this opposite sides of the halves. Like Man City were better in the first half.
It was a bit of a game of 2 halves.
Yeah,
but
it was. Yeah,
I think we came out with a bit of credit in a sense that we're much of the better team, and you've got to remember as well, going into this game, this was the youngest side that Ange has named since he came in. So, you can understand maybe that they had to kind of grow into the game at the start when you're playing against much more experienced players and obviously a very good team. Man City is still a very good team, whatever you want to say about them. Obviously, they're not the same as they were last season.
They've been playing well though.
Recently, with the signings, they've been much better. I know they've lost to Madrid and Liverpool, they're still a much better team. So, obviously, when you've got a lot of young team, inexperienced, a lot of Odegaard's first starts in September. You've got a lot of young players together. Gray still playing a centre back. Yeah. I can understand the struggles, but obviously the first one was very frustrating to watch. But credit to the team for bouncing back in that second half and really putting Man City under pressure and really deserving to equalise, I would say, in that second half. And that was a massive shame that we didn't quite. I think we lacked that just bit of quality, that finishing touch.
But I think that's been the case ever since we've had Ange, to be honest. I think we always lack that quality. We don't have that killer in our team. Son's off it as well. He's the only one who has been that killer over the years for us, with obviously Harry Kane and whatever. But I think right now, if Son is not doing it, someone else has to pull it out, and we don't really have killers. Maddison had a fairly okay game, not the best. He was alright. But for me, I think again a special mention is to Kevin Danso.
Yeah,
I think Kevin Danso had another good game.
It was interesting. I thought in the first half he was running around a bit too much and leaving us a bit, and then second half he started to rein it in a bit and became a bit more controlled and
a bit more aggressive. He made a few good last-ditch tackles as well.
I thought Gray
should have scored. He should have scored as well.
I thought Gray on the ball again, brilliant with his ability to so brave on the ball, not scared to go into midfield. And really good passing as well, but I thought off the ball there was a few times Haaland really bullied him and targeted him. I felt.
Of course, but of course he was going to do that. Even Delap against him in the first 10 minutes, he was getting absolutely bullied all over the place. But I think
I'm not angry at the performance. I'm frustrated with that we didn't get the win, but I think
there was a couple of chances from the corners as well. There was one from Ben scored a header,
and
that Johnson header as well.
Johnson header. Danso had an effort as well. We were kind of trying to hurt them from set pieces as well.
Just couldn't put it in the net.
I think if I was on the balance of play, I think City were probably better in the first half than we were good in the second half. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna say, do we deserve something out of the game? I think City were still the better team on the day overall. So I can't really complain that we lost, but I would say big up to the team for really battling in that second half and trying to get back in the game and giving it a real good go. And on another day, we probably get back in that game.
I think
big shame there.
It is, but I think if we had drawn today, I think people would have said it was a deserved point.
Yeah, I think so. If we get that equaliser, I don't think anyone would have said it's a robbery or anything like that. I think we would have deserved that equaliser. So massive shame, but I also can't sit here and say that Man City didn't deserve the win, because they could have scored a few goals in that first half, and we were lucky to come away with that. It was just 1-0.
That would have killed the game for us.
Unfortunately, it didn't go off all our way on the day. And bigger picture stuff in terms of, obviously we know the league where we are. I know other results Man United have won and things like that, but any aspirations of us closing the gap, going on a run and closing the gap to European spots, I don't think that's going to be realistic at this point.
I don't even care about the league. I think what our focus should be on is Europa League. That has to be the focus. It doesn't really matter where we finish now, because it's not going to make that much of a difference. What we should focus on is actually Europa League, because even if you win that, that's European football again next season, and that's Champions League football.
And I think what really cost us was probably both boxes. I think, again, I know Danso and Gray had a fairly decent game, but I think if we would have had Romero, Van der Ven there, and if we had Solanke up front, it could have been a very different game if we just had a few missing pieces. And I think that was, and Tell really struggled again today. He was probably one of our worst players.
He was terrible.
And he had to be hooked.
Terrible.
He had to be. We looked a lot better up in those areas when he went off.
What I'm getting annoyed about Tell, and I know he's only young, and maybe some people are right where they say he's not really a striker. He's got talent. He's got raw talent, but he's not ready to play in this team. Like he needs a couple of years developing somewhere.
He's still got a lot of adjusting to do in the Premier League. I think.
He does, but also like we need to see what his actual position is, where he plays best. And I don't know if it is striker, and if it is, he needs to really work on his control as well, because what I've seen in the last couple of games is he just, every time he gets the ball, he tries to turn or do something, and he loses the ball every single time. In the first game, he was actually making lots of good movements. He was doing some nice flicks and stuff, controlling the ball well. And ever since then, he looks like a completely different player.
Maybe he needs to go back out wide where there's more space, because he's lack. Because when you're getting the ball into feet and you've got big centre backs up against you and you're having to shield the ball all the time, he's struggling with it.
He's struggling. Maybe they should put Kulu up top.
And whereas if you go on the left, you're facing the player more. You're not got your back to goal a lot more, and you've got a bit more space. Maybe he needs some time out there. And I know we saw him on the left against Liverpool and he struggled, but maybe we need to revisit that. But he struggled again today, and I think rightfully taken off. But I thought
I've got Kulu up top right now. Andrews has done it in the Premier League as well, and he's done well. He scored 2 goals. Was it against Villa once? Was it?
Against Sheffield United.
There was one in it was Sheffield United.
Yeah, right at the end of the season. He's done it before, and he's looked bright. So look,
he did it in pre-season too, didn't he?
But Tell was an interesting one because we've signed him to play, but he's not playing well. But he's only going to kind of adjust with game time. So it's a difficult one to kind of assess how Ange plays. I think he'll probably start again against RZ in 8 days' time. Europa League, obviously we don't play again for another 8 days. These players will have a bit more rest, and obviously the players who didn't start today will have a bit of a rest, having that hour they didn't play.
I think there's no excuses for that.
Positives, I would say. Also, Bentancur was a bit of a positive. I would say Vicario was brilliant.
Vicario was good.
Odegaard showed flashes in the second half, which was good, but first half struggled.
I thought he was right in the first half. He wasn't too bad.
First half, I thought he struggled a bit.
He wasn't too bad. He had a few decent moments, but you're right. Second half, he was better.
Yeah, Danso, impressive again, but I guess bad. Doggy was decent as well. Just before he got taken off, he created that chance for Tell as well. Before he got taken off.
The one I got frustrated with was the Doggy one. He was running through, and everyone in the stands just shoot. You could see it in front of you. Yeah, you could see it in front of you. All he had to do was put his left foot through that, and he's got a really good chance of putting that in the back of the net. But again, they tried to pass it. None of these players, it really frustrates me. Some of these players, they don't have the balls to the confidence to just literally hit the shot, hit the ball, just actually hit it. That's what they're paid to do.
Always trying for the extra pass.
They're always trying for the extra pass, and then it was such a bad pass as well. Tell couldn't control it because it was a terrible pass, and then we lost another chance. And the space was so open for him. Everyone could see the glaring space. All he had to do was hit it, and he didn't. And another one chance went away.
Yeah, a few of them happened today. So, who was your man of the match, would you say?
What, for Spurs?
Yeah. Vicario for the first half, maybe, or
Vicario,
Bergvall potentially.
Yeah, or Bergvall. It's kind of similar. I think Vicario had a really good first half. Overall, I think Bergvall had a decent game. He nearly cost us with one bad back pass.
And Spence came on and played very well again. He was brilliant when he came on.
Spence's quality.
And you know what?
He's
it's
so
mad how a player's kind of status at their club can change, because when he was coming off the bench today, what an ovation he got, a massive cheer.
Everyone
and I livened up the crowd, the crowd was waning, and then Spence comes on, it's like he livens up. To think that we could have sold him in the summer. Now he's the kind of player that gets the crowd on their feet when he's coming off.
It reminds you a bit of back Gareth Bale. I'm not saying he's level, but we nearly sold him for $5 million to Birmingham.
Crazy.
And then he rose to his stardom.
I'd probably give man of the match to a difficult one. I don't think anyone was exceptional.
No.
I don't think anyone was terrible either. So it's probably Danso maybe.
Yeah, Danso or Bergvall.
Bergvall, I think maybe Bergvall, one of those two. But look, another loss. Unfortunately, it's only going to be a result with the way we are in the league. It's going to pile more pressure on Ange to do something in the Europa League and get that trophy. And we know at this moment in time, getting in the top half is going to be a tall order. So we just got to do our best in the Premier League, try and gain some momentum going into next season. That's all you can do, because at the moment, I think you know, with another loss here, we really needed to win and go on a winning run if we had any chance of catching those teams above us, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
I don't think we're going to have a winning run. Like I said, I don't care about the Premier League now. I just want to focus on the Europa League. That's the best chance of salvation this season for me.
All right, guys. That's it. Spurs have lost 1-0 to Man City. We'll see you, 8 days' time till the next game in Amsterdam. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, we'll see you in the studio tomorrow to debrief the game as well. Danny, cheers for coming on the channel. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, the Spurs.